Welcome to the shop. I always look forward to your visit. Get yourself something to drink and let's get started. Got another fun project here that I want to share with you. It is an axe project, so don't take off. I know I do a lot of them, but I've had some people ask me some questions about some of the tools I use. I have some of these crazy looking tools, looks like a knife. I have this block that has this angle slot in it, and so it's been requested that I show some of the stuff that I use to hang an axe head. And a lot of this is very basic and simple, and a lot of things that you can pick up and make yourself as well. And so although we're going to be putting together this axe head, whoops, it's upside down here, hanging this axe head on a new handle, I want to go through and show you what it is that I use to be able to do this. I am doing this axe as a gift. My cousin just bought their first home, he and his wife, and they bought a little Amish farm in Iowa. And so as a housewarming gift, I thought I'd gift him this axe, and we'll hang it here on the channel, and we'll get it all cleaned up and ready for him to use on the homestead. All right, I don't think I'm forgetting anything here really. There are usually a couple of hammers that we use for different things, but I will reserve the right to add in to this pile of tools. If in the middle of the video I realize that there's something I need, I'll try to explain it. Let's start over here. This is I call it my axe vise. It has a leather hinge, and it fits into the carpenter's vise so that I can grip the axe there, and we'll show you how that works. So I have that over here. Always have the Shinto. I heard somebody talk about how they stopped using their Shinto and went to a horse rasp, and I'm sure that there are a lot of rasps that are good quality. I like my Shinto. It really works nicely. So we'll be fitting the eye to the handle with that. We also have a couple of hammers, usually a heavier hammer and a lighter hammer that you want to keep handy. Also have the drifting block. Now the drifting block works in such a way that you can put your axe handle there, usually when it's cut off and it still has the wood in there. You take your drift, set that in there, and then with your hammer you're able to work that all the way out. I do have a video on the drifting block along with the drifts. I will put that in the description if you want to check that out. These drifts are some drifts that I made on a rough forge with rebar. So those I did make. I saw somebody, and forgive me for not knowing who you are to give you proper credit, somebody made some out of railroad ties. So if you have some railroad ties and a grinder, you could do a great job of making some drifts for yourself out of railroad ties, just cutting off the top and shaping the head and being able to make it so that that'll work. And that is a great way to do things. I think it runs in my mind, please forgive me if this is wrong, I think it's Big Life. I think he made some drifts out of this. If it's not him, I'm sorry. You can contact me and let me know who you are, and I'll try to make it right if I'm making a mistake there. But anyways, that drift is for that. Once you get it down so far, you can also flip it over like this, set it up here, and finish pounding things out. Then we have a scraper. This is a knife that a file, I should say. It's a file that my son started to make a knife with, and he never finished it back when he was a teenager. So I took it and I ground a nice round, nice right angle edge on here. It's not sharp as far as a knife is concerned, but there are two nice sharp right angles. There's this concave, and then the back side of the spine. All these are right angles so that you can use it to scrape the handles with. Some people use knife blades, some people I've seen use razor blades. This is just the way I've chosen to go, is to take a file, grind off all of the file, and make it so that I can use it as a scraper. This is my linseed oil in a little bottle for applying linseed oil to wedges and into the eye and things like that. I also have the tub. We may see that later on. Have a saw which helps cut the kerf for the wedge to be able to put that in. I'm just putting the saw here. This isn't the way you have to do it. I will probably use the bandsaw to do that with, but you can go as simple as this. Now this thing here, let me bring over a wedge. This is a block that I made. It's out of ash, and I just wanted something that I could give even pound to a wedge, so that goes over the wedge. I did it at an angle, so because this here wouldn't cover the whole thing. It'd give me more space to be able to hit that whole wedge and give even pressure. And then you take a hammer, and when you're pounding that is pounding all the way across here, so you're not breaking up your wedge. If you're using something like this and you hit here on this edge, this side will drive in, this side can pinch, and it'll break up, and you'll end up with all kinds of splinters throughout there, and it won't stay whole. So that is just my pounding block that I use to drive the wedges into the eye of an axe, and we'll demonstrate that as well. And then this here is just a roughed out mallet that I use to drive and to hang when I'm driving the handle into the eye. I like to use this. This is a sacrificial piece. You can see how it's been all busted and broken up, but it helps to keep the handle from cracking and splitting. So let's get started cleaning up this axe. We will try to clean this all up. We're going to give it a new sharpening here on this bit and get it in good working order so that it can be used on the homestead. So I'm going to start with the scraper and the Shinto file so that we can get the scraper's going to take off all of the varnish that's on here. I like to get it all the way down to wood. There's just places like right here, it's rough, it's not smooth. So we want to get the varnish off, we want to scrape it clean, sand it down. We don't want it too smooth, but we do want it to slide nicely in your hand. You want a nice big palm swell down here for grip so that you don't slip. But this hand here, you want it to be able to slide on that shaft smoothly, and we will give it a treat of linseed oil once we get it cleaned up. And then we'll use the Shinto, which we will take to fit the eye. Right now it's really tight, and we need to get it down here about right to this point, and it won't fit there, so we're going to have to use that to get that into place. So we'll start the video off with what I forgot. I like using a pipe clamp. It's not really a pipe clamp, but it's a wood clamp to put the handle in, and that way you can rotate this around and get to all the different spaces that you need to, so that you can scrape this nice and clean. is fitting really nice. See where it's scraping right here. We've got a gap back here which will be filled once we get it down here where it belongs. So we can take a little off the edge. Let's check it for straightness. That is good. I want to point something out here. You can see where it's real smooth right here. That's the rub marks. So here it's not touching the inside of the eye. The inside of the eye is touching right here. So that's the metal, that's the wood that we want to remove right in here. And you can see where it was bottoming out here. So we need to shape this and take that out. On the other side, you can see as well, all of this is where it's touching. And then it's bottoming out here. All this is not touching. So we want to remove this wood so that there's as much wood contacting the inside of the eye as possible. That's why when you put the wedge in, you want that wedge tight, because that expands all of this so that it fills the eye, and as much wood as you can should come in contact with the eye. I thought there might be some other tools I might be forgetting, and that's this block. As insignificant as it may seem, it really is nice. It can stand up underneath there, and you put the handle down there so that everything is being driven down into the ground. It can be set upright like this for short handles. For a little bit longer handles, it can be laid on its side, and for the longest handles, it can be laid all the way down. But right now it is tapered right here so that it'll lean against the bench. So you set it right there, it leans against the bench. You take your axe and you can set it right there. I think I'm going to put it on its side right now, and that because this is a long handle. It'll sit right down there, and we can put our wedge in. I'm not sure how well the camera's going to pick this up, but if you can tell, see how that's coming out just a little bit, and on the other side it's bowing out too. So this top part has mushroomed out because of the wedge. You don't want this part too high because it will break off right here. You don't want it too low because you won't get that mushrooming. So right about 1/8 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that is in millimeters, but you want that up just high enough so it will start to bow outward and catch the edge of the upper eye. The reason we put the linseed oil on after we have sanded it and trimmed it up and everything the end grain are like straws that are sticking up, and we just sanded it and grinded it, been working with it. It's warm, and as it cools, it will draw that linseed oil down into all of those end grains, and that will help to solidify. It'll congeal in there, and it won't evaporate. It will keep that expanded nicely. You remember how I showed you how it's expanded at the top? That will all stay nice and expanded, and it's not going to evaporate or shrink up. About once a year, sand it lightly, put a coat of linseed oil on there, and then you're ready to go for the next year as far as the head maintenance is concerned. All right, ready to finish this up and give it a nice bath in the linseed oil. Always keep some of these cheap brushes around so we can get the oil all the way up the shaft. All right, now that that's all covered nicely, I put it up here on my magnet, and we let it drain back into there we go. Another old tool given new life. I'm really pleased with this handle. I like the whole project, but this is about the best store-bought handle I think I have ever found. Nice and sharp transition right there. The shape of the handle is just great. Look at that grain orientation on that. I love this upsweep right here, just the way that is shaped. It makes it comfortable holding it this way and this way. So just really, really great. The handle looks like it has some character, and the axe head came out really nice. From what I understand, it says 3.2, and you're supposed to put a 1 over that 2, so it'd be 3.5 pound head. I didn't try to weigh it, because that's usually what that indication is. I have several of these axes, and this one turned out just great. This one here is mine, and the one that I use when I'm out in the woods. It needs a little cleaning up, but it's still good and sharp. But there's the two together there. If you look carefully here, you see just how nicely that eye turned out. It is good and tight all the way around. No gaps whatsoever. That thing should stay on there, locked on, good and tight for a long, long time. So this is going to be a part 1. Join me on the next video. We're going to sharpen this thing up and make a mask for it so that we can keep it safe when we're traveling with it and moving around with it. So join me on that one. But for right now, thanks so much for joining me on this video. It's always great to have you visit the shop. Hope to see you on the next one. Do give us a thumbs up if this was entertaining. Again, always share with those who you think might enjoy this content. If you haven't subscribed, I just got a message from somebody on my last video that said, finally subscribed. It's been a year. So we had been interacting and conversing and everything for quite some time, and I guess I just presumed he was a subscriber, but he finally announced to let me know that he was a subscriber, and so I gave him a big thank you. Thank you to all of you who have been with me for some time. Thank you for all those who are new subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button and the bell notification, and we'll keep trying to put out content like this and all of this up here on the wall as well. So I really hope you have a great day. God bless.